I turned it up.
Make you scream.
Oh my goodness.
Make
Please.
you wanna sing. You don't gotta like no perms you can't see. Damn, I'm not. These goddamn potholes gonna tear my car a bit. God damn. Me want you up to my son, yeah. You look so good, I wanna, yeah. I want you to be my lady. Me want go up, I know you want me.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Daniel Banks, aka DJ Fine, CEO of JTU, We Are Jersey Magazine, and Jersey Diamonds. I'm here with Mr. Reggiecouz.
Yes, sir.
In the building.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Appreciate you for coming.
For sure.
We have the man with the plan. You guys know him all over the gram. Mr. Reggiecouz, comedian, actor, entertainer, musician, you name it. We have him in the building. We're gonna get to know Mr. Reggiecouz. Thank you again for coming to bless us on our platform and everything.
I had to be a part of this, bro.
Absolutely, especially because you're from Jersey.
I am from Jersey.
So which part of Jersey are you actually from?
East Orange.
East Orange. Shout out to EO.
Yes.
Got EO in the building.
Sir.
You know what I'm saying? And actually, you actually have moved to LA. Mm-hmm. So now, how long have you been in LA for?
So this will be probably like 5 years and a half. So I moved out there when the whole Vine thing was big.
Yeah.
Which was around the time like maybe 2014. So I moved out there, and ever since I just been kind of thugging it out there for the most part.
Do you ever miss Jersey? Like, is it something where you're like,
course.
Like, how often do you actually come back to Jersey? That doesn't mean go look for him, but.
So I've been on my grind here and there,
Yeah.
but now since I'm at a place where like I need to like be with family.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And definitely, since we're in like sensitive times and things of that sort, I definitely been kind of bi-coastal for pretty much this whole year.
What's the culture shock between Jersey and LA? Like when you went from over here doing Vine and everything and knowing like all the locals and and the environment to going to LA to now getting into like this real serious business mode. Like how did that whole culture change? Was there a culture shock, or like how did it?
Definitely.
How did the environment take an impact?
Bro, the thing about Jersey that you can't really, like, you gotta respect is when we say we gonna do something, you know it's locked in.
Absolutely.
When you go to LA, it's like almost like a lollygag, or oh man, yeah, bro, we gonna link. We for sure finna link, and then you never link.
Right.
So I had to kind of learn that people just talk, not necessarily. And if people want to work with you, they will.
Absolutely.
And I have to kind of understand it's just business. It might not even make sense to do a collaboration at this present time, but just to know that people are not obligated to work with you was kind of the culture shock. But here, we always ready to work. We don't know. Yeah. We don't care if you got 30 followers.
Absolutely.
As long as you make it make sense for everybody that's a part of it, y'all always willing to work. And that's what I love about Jersey.
Now, do you see a lot of upcoming Jersey comedians and artists and everything? What are you seeing like from your home state and everything over in LA? Like, are we making some noise? Or how we doing?
Definitely. Yeah. And it's so many people that I've met, and I didn't even realize they were from Jersey.
Really?
So, and they might have been like here for maybe 2 years, and then they went out and branched out to different things. But it's a lot of talent here.
Yeah.
That I actually heard that Wyclef was from here, and I'm like, why didn't I know that? Like, what? We got so much talent.
Absolutely.
That comes specifically here.
That's awesome. Now let's talk about you. So, Vine. Take me back a little bit, right?
Lord.
I know. Do it for the Vine, right? Take it way back.
I ain't gonna do it.
So take me back to the Vine days. Now, obviously, you download the app, start it up. Like, tell me about some of the things that actually made you love doing Vine videos.
Yeah, so I started like around May of 2013.
Okay.
And I was going to school at that point. I just finished my first year. And then I saw somebody on Instagram say, follow me on Vine.
Right.
And I was like, what the heck is Vine? Mm-hmm. So I went and I downloaded it, and at first I thought it was stupid. I'm like, 6-second looping videos. Yeah, okay, let's see how far this lasts.
Right.
Until I started seeing Eric Dunn on how he was using it. I don't know if you remember him.
Yes.
But he was like one of the top dogs on the app. And
For a while, yeah.
For a really long time.
Yeah.
And he was like one of the pioneers of just the whole micro content making.
Absolutely.
So he made a video one day saying he was gonna be in a specific area in Florida. And that was like the first, I guess, Vine meetup.
Right.
So I was like, I wanna see how many people actually show up. And bro, when I saw, it had to have been maybe 1,500 people.
Really?
I'm like, people really are like showing up. So I was like, this must be a real thing.
Right.
I have to get on this before it gets hot.
Right.
Because it was still in the startup period. So once I was kind of finding myself too, I was making all different types of stuff that didn't even make sense. If it was a trend, I just wanted to get followers, to get the exposure that I needed.
Absolutely, yeah.
Until I started going into music making and comedy at the same time. So I would start doing different characters, and like Mr. Johnson and the dad character
Eugene
started popping up. Right.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much kind of like my startup on just getting into a whole different field of just making content in general.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And the fact that it's taken off on such a level now.
Yeah.
So now if we look at the generations, we've gone from Vine, then now we have Instagram and Facebook, and then you have TikTok.
Yeah.
So like now, what are you finding yourself actually on more? I think that's like one thing that a lot of people would want to know. Like, what do you find yourself on more?
So Vine had a structure where they were getting a lot of people on the app, but they weren't taking care of the creators. And I think YouTube done a very, very good job of catering to the creators, because if people are not creating on the app, then the whole thing falls apart.
Absolutely.
And that's why Vine fell apart, because we felt like we weren't getting the proper respect. Like, we're getting people to join the app, and World Star Hip Hop was doing Vine compilation, but we weren't necessarily getting paid for doing Vines. So now that I noticed what TikTok is doing is they're having a certain algorithm to where, you know how Instagram, you post something and if it don't do nothing in 30 minutes, we don't know what to tell you.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
It flopped. What else you got? It's like that. But TikTok has an algorithm where they constantly show different people your work.
Because it's on the feed and everything. Yeah.
Right, so it might blow up in 2 weeks from now, or it might blow up 2 years from now, but they always show your stuff constantly.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what they got as far as the formula down pat.
Right. Absolutely. So now, even taking from back then with the followers that you had from Vine and everything to now having millions of followers, like what does that do to someone? Like what is the thought process of, I went from a few followers doing some Vines and just loving to make people laugh, to now people all around the world, literally world, international, are watching you, and it's just like you just have like this big impact in such a community just to make people laugh. Like how does that make someone feel coming from your shoes?
I mean, it's a lot of pressure. I get constant messages of like, yo man, you're getting me through depression. Right. You're getting me through hard times. And I gotta look at that as like, this is bigger than me. I don't wanna ever lose focus of, being the next thing or whatever. Like, I wanna be inspiring for people to just say it's possible. Like, I literally got it done in my mama's attic. And I was shooting videos and I got a tripod, but it's just really just about, I'm gonna get there. It's just, I have to be strategic in how I work. And as long as you don't lose focus, and say to yourself like, bro, it's people really depending on you, that you make them feel a certain way. So you always have to keep my emotions good, my mental health good. Like, all of these things are very, very important.
Did you ever picture yourself actually to become an influencer?
No, I actually always wanted to be a singer. I studied classical music at the University of the Arts, so I was always into music.
Yeah, absolutely.
I knew I wanted to do it. It's just I had an opportunity on Vine where I really couldn't pass up what was working for me. If people were, saying that I was really, really funny, then I'm gonna be really, really funny to get the followers.
The followers, absolutely.
To get the exposure. And then that's when I started mixing in my content. And so I don't feel like that I'm neglecting my music side.
Absolutely.
which is extremely important for me. I always want to make sure people know that like I'm a musician at heart.
Yeah.
I am a musician that happens to be funny.
Absolutely.
And most of my stuff that I've ever done is just been music. So
that's awesome. Now, from the perspective of like young people and your fans and followers and everything, and for upcoming comedians, you actually mentioned the whole self-care and mental health. Like how important is that? And how do you go about that? Because you know, we have a lot of people grinding, upcoming, and they feel like they have to do this like, well, you do have to do it constantly because of the algorithms and the business aspect to it. But like, how do you take personal self-care of yourself to be able to still like come up with fresh ideas and coming up with the skits and then go into another avenue of music?
Yeah.
You know, that's two different big categories.
Man.
So like that's two different lanes.
Work smarter, not harder.
I like that, yeah.
At 19, I wanted to just go. I wanted to just burn through content. Like, man, but now, you could have 5 videos a year, and if they all hit 50 million, that's the quality of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to like, making more videos doesn't necessarily do the job. It might be great for right now, but again, having all of these mental health things that you constantly think about, like, whoa, what if I fall off? Or, you know, what's the next video? And
it's
then
a lot
you're
of pressure.
stressing
It's a lot
yourself.
of pressure,
It is a lot of pressure. But if you can do it, cool, but eventually your body and your mind won't be the same as 2 years ago.
Right.
And sometimes you have to have a team of people to help you out of what you want to do. So definitely work smarter.
Not harder.
Not harder.
That's awesome.
And that's what I learned from the 6 years I've been doing this thing.
6 years you've been doing this.
6
strong years. That's awesome.
Yes,
Blessings
sir.
to you, my brother. Absolutely.
Definitely. Appreciate it.
Now let's talk about the music aspect, right? So he just dropped this dope Afrobeat track called Baybee. It has been a vibe. We have been vibing to it all. I've been vibing to it for the past couple of weeks, but definitely go check that out. It's on all streaming platforms. So tell me about, let's talk about Baybee, right? Let's just talk about the music in general. So obviously you're describing music as an outlet to you. You know what I'm saying? It's a way to express yourself. So when it's like you're not doing comedian, or being an influencer, doing TikToks and the videos, you're working on music.
Definitely.
And everything. And obviously that's like an outlet for you to just be like, you know what? I could be even more wild than I am in my comedy. Because you know, even with comedy, you got to kind of like bring it in. But with music, you can go as far out as you really want to. So now talk to me about the aspect of falling in love with music and how that's pertaining to you now with everything and including it into your videos and stuff.
Definitely. So I've been doing music all my life, but working on actual records and how to make a record was my thing. And that's why I kind of incorporated with my comedy, because I was like, well, I wanted to see if they just like it on the standpoint of like, this sounds good instead of it being funny.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So yeah, it's funny, but also I want people to be like, yo, this is actually kind of dope though. Like how you did it.
When you start doing the beats and everything.
Right. So I started introducing that, like, well, do they even like my sound or what I'm trying to do? And now since I kind of got the feedback from the fans, or I want to call them my supporters.
Supporters, absolutely.
I've understand that if I'm going to get into an industry, I have to learn how to make certain songs.
Absolutely.
So if I want to be a songwriter, if I want to be a beat maker, I have to expand what I'm already doing, right? So really just having the aspect of just understanding what I'm trying to do and have the ability to do other things is very important to me.
Absolutely. And you just dropped the album, Reggiecouz.
Yes, sir.
Or Just Cuz. You know what I'm saying? And that album all by itself, like the structure of it, like you could just hear the sound development and how you've grown over the time. And even from taking some of those sounds that we probably heard on TikTok and then just making them into overall tracks.
Right.
So like how do you actually know like what songs you want to just, I guess, just be like, these are gonna be samples and then ones that are gonna actually be tracks on your album?
Right. So I try to stay away from samples, because again, if I don't have like the clearances to use them, then they'll hit you over the head if it goes crazy.
Absolutely.
So just learning stuff like that, where you gotta understand how people could kind of take advantage of you. You gotta understand like how certain writers, if you work with them and you don't have to serve paperwork.
Correct.
The sheets look like the business
aspect.
stuff,
yes,
man.
absolutely.
Because I know I want to, be creative and I just want to go out and do it, but it's still an art to learn the different aspects of how things work. So when you're getting a paycheck, you understand why you have this certain amount of money.
Absolutely.
So that's also something that I'm getting used to.
Absolutely. And I think that you touched on a great subject that we can move into, the business aspect.
Let's talk about it.
So earlier we were talking about a whole bunch of
Man.
different avenues of business, and I think you guys should actually know about some of the things that go on behind the scenes that even with the little words. So talk to me about even being a comedian. Like let's start with the comedian business aspect. So there's paperwork that can go into that. And I don't think a lot of people know that. I think it's just like people think let's be funny, post, understand algorithms, and the money will kind of roll.
Right.
But tell me about some of the business aspect behind it, and even understanding the consistency level that you have to continue to do that kind of a lane.
Sure. So once you get the ball rolling, because I
Right.
think that's pretty much once you start getting things revved up, you're gonna have brands that come in and say, hey, how much will it cost to promote
Right.
our product, right? And ask your peers that are around, how much people are taking. 'Cause if you do a certain deal with something and they kind of realize that, oh, they're doing it for cheap,
Right.
then why should we give you that?
Exactly.
It's a double-edged sword, because I get it why you did it, because it's like, money, it's money. But also, you don't want to lower your worth and then lower the market and then have the expectation of having it a certain way. Because now people are asking I want you to make a song. I want you to come up with the concept. I want you to basically put it all together for a low price.
Right.
And that just doesn't work, because I have to pay the crew. I have to pay the editor. I have to pay, since you're trying to do something different, if you want to make it look like a commercial, you're gonna have to pay for that.
Absolutely.
So that's one thing I would say. It's just ask your peers of who's taking what, if you can, and have an understanding that don't lower your worth by just taking the first deal.
Absolutely.
So.
And now that you're getting into music and everything, now you're learning a whole different lane and avenue. So now, what's the research for you as someone that, like you said, understands the comedian side of it? Now, what is it like getting into the business aspect of music? Like, what's some of the things that you're trying to really learn and grasp, so that then now you can really expand your music, your brand, another
Definitely.
brand of yourself?
So one thing that I learned, people have a big ass team.
Right. Yes.
It's not just the artist.
Uh-huh.
I look at certain artists and be like, dang, he could just work out, and he can, but there's 50, 60, 70 people on the roster to just make a song.
Right.
Guys like Drake, they have a whole arsenal of people that have marketing and PR and business managers. Oh, then we got the agent, and all these people getting paid.
Everybody.
And I'm starting to learn that I can't do this by myself if I'm trying to do music.
Right.
I just can't. I can't make the beat and write and try to get clearances and try to get a publisher and try to do that myself. All of this time that you could be doing, you could probably just be focusing on just the music, getting the content out, and then have a team of people that you trust and help you put it together.
Key.
And that's been my mentality for the past years, of just I could do it myself, but you can't.
Right.
And I knew this day was coming, but it's just a matter of really getting into your head that the real ones that's really doing it and really making it out here, they have a whole team to help them out. So get yourself a team, please.
Absolutely. And now, going back, let's move back a little bit again. So now, bringing some people with you. Do you still have a lot of people that you've been friends with from the beginning of the game that you're still
got my dogs.
You're still rolling with now? And what is it like I said, staying humble in the game and still taking people with you? You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people have this misconception of how you could bring everybody up or taking everybody with you.
No. Everybody can't go. Everybody can't.
And that's real, yeah.
I'm not trying to, have an entourage of people.
Right.
Like, oh, I win. It's a difference if they're like doing something that's part of the team. If you got a bunch of big guys, hire them as security.
Right.
You're not gonna be working for free. You ain't gonna just be popping bottles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without putting no work in.
Absolutely.
But everybody can't go, and sometimes having friends that understand that, like, I have my own life to live, and I don't want to be up under you, is important. Because definitely I've had some guys who are like, yo man, you gonna fly me out to LA? Like, whoa, fly you out? Bro, what? Listen to what you're saying right now.
Right.
Fly you out? Nah, man. So yeah, everybody can't go, man. That's one thing I want people to understand too.
He told y'all going to Expedia.
People will take advantage of you.
Yeah.
From just for your success, and that's not what I'm about. You still gotta find yourself at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And like you said, self-care is like one of the main things.
Absolutely.
Like one of the biggest things, especially when you get to a certain point. And I think that's one thing that we try to emphasize, especially on this platform, like that self-care as an artist, self-care as a comedian, a musician, you name it. Like, you have to take time for yourself to really just get things wrong. Like, do you ever experience writer's block?
All day. And sometimes I have to understand, maybe it's just not today to write.
Right.
Maybe it's not the day to make content at all. And sometimes especially when you're in a space where you use your brain a lot, maybe it's not the time to be thinking about that. Maybe learn a new asset, learn a new tool for today. Instead of trying to bust your ass trying to figure out what's the next content. Maybe, listen to a podcast that's very informative, right? Learn about relationships, because it might have an idea that they say that sparks your creativity.
Right.
To make you do what you have to do.
Right.
And I think that's what the universe sometimes tries to tell you. We're like, yo, why are you still trying it?
Yeah.
You need to do something else. You'll get it eventually, and I'm starting to learn that as I move along. Is sometimes when you're like really, really working at something, you might be doing yourself disjustice if you keep trying to make something work that's not working. So definitely.
So like you said, stay in your lane, but then also explore different avenues.
This is the time. If you don't have it right now,
Yeah.
this is the time to really learn different things. Like, say, hey, you know what? I just want to know what a life is being a drawing, or I want to know what life is being a counselor, or whatever. And you get an idea that sparks in your mind. That means, oh, I could write about this.
Yes.
Oh, this reminded
That's
me
good.
of the funny video that I can make.
That's good.
So I've always tried to tell myself that, like, this is the time where you're working too hard.
So you're basically saying, like, it's okay to rebrand yourself. It's okay to continue to brand yourself in different lanes, even after making it with one avenue, so that you don't put yourself in a box.
Yeah, you have to expand.
Right.
The greats have always expanded.
Absolutely.
Jamie Foxx, Drake, even Nicki Minaj went out and did some acting.
Yeah.
You have to constantly reinvent yourself to people to kind of see you growing.
Absolutely.
Like the guys that I've seen, when you do one thing, eventually people are gonna be like, all right, we've seen this before, what's the next thing? People want to see growth. And I know for me, even if a new iPhone comes out and they change the button to the top, people gonna complain, but it's changed.
Evolution, just continue
right?
to change, yeah.
So it's the same thing with an artist and a movie star, or I love the fact that a person like Will Smith could be like, yeah, I've done music too. Right. And I've done acting as well. And I continue to kind of do different things and go into different avenues, like YouTube. Absolutely. He started doing YouTube. You're like, you love to see it, because you can tell that they're growing and they understand that these are the things that I have to do, even it might be a little bit nerve-wracking.
Right. Stepping out of your lane.
You have
and
to.
out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
Definitely staying in creative mode, whatever that is.
Always.
Yeah.
Always trying to stay in creative mode. But then, like you said, just the self-care aspect of it. When you get to explore other people's platforms and just see like how they're moving, it can influence you. And then like you take something, you're like, okay, I do remember where that put me in this place. So now let me go be creative with it.
Creative mode.
I like that.
Be in your bag.
Do we see any possible future collaborators that you're looking to work with? Just give us a little something.
I've always been a guy that works by myself.
Right. Okay.
But I'm trying to get a Eric Bellinger collab.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for that.
Okay.
I know I got to do some clearances and stuff like that,
absolutely.
and understand like what the game, as we talked about. But yeah, look out for that. And also working with different producers too.
Okay.
Because I know I make my beats, but I'm at a spot where like if it's a hit and I like the song, I'm gonna just write to it.
Absolutely.
So definitely be on the lookout for those.
Now speaking about that particular collab, was that kind of after you did that Afrobeat track, you were starting to think of it? Because you know that kind of does go hand in hand.
It does.
With that avenue of music that you're actually about to develop. He actually loves Afrobeat.
What? I can't stop.
Don't let me tell you, I sent him an Afrobeat playlist. Let it be known, I sent him an Afrobeat playlist. So you start seeing some Afrobeat in his, in his work. Just know.
Yes, sir.
Me at first, but yeah.
Yeah. It was actually before I made it. Cause he's such a dope guy.
Right.
Like he's like, yo man, I really mess with what you're doing.
Right.
And I believe that you're a star. It's just a matter of figuring out the puzzle piece.
Absolutely.
You don't get a puzzle and have it all figured out. You gotta put in the work.
Right.
You gotta take your time with it. Understand what pieces you have, and then just work from there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he's always been one of those guys that have been encouraging me. It's like, yeah, you got it, bro.
Absolutely.
And even when I played the record, one day I played the record for him that he cut, and he forgot the lyrics. I'm like, damn. But that just goes to show me that he's working on
Constantly, yeah.
Constantly. You don't even remember your work. I got thousands of songs.
Right.
Like, man, I gotta be on that type of tip where, I mean, of course, remember my words.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I got it in a way where, he's always working on new music. And the same way how I was making videos, I gotta do the same work as far as making music.
Absolutely.
So definitely, Eric Bellinger is my guy.
Look out for that, guys.
And look out for it, man. We're trying to get something going next year. So
soon in the future. I appreciate you coming through, man. Definitely.
I'd love to be here, bro.
I appreciate you coming through. Now, my last question for you is, what else do we have looking forward to for 2020? Like, it's ending really quickly, but and a lot of things have happened this year, and you've been involved in a lot of different things, speaking out and everything. Mm-hmm. We really love the fact that you are doing all that speaking out and everything. So tell me about like some of the things that we have looking forward to for the rest of 2020 and what you're working on. Yeah,
so really, as we talked about before, branding, I think it's the next step for me. Getting products to sell, and just having something that people could like get behind and support. And people have been wanting to support me, but I've always want to do it right.
Absolutely.
I don't want to necessarily come out with t-shirts. Hey, buy a $25 t-shirt and then put it out and don't have no meaning behind it. They're like, why should I buy it? And I think that's the next step for me. It's just branding, like how Rihanna have Fenty, or Drake has OVO. And you can get behind it and say like, yo, this is something I could be a part of.
Absolutely. And we can't
wait.
That's the next step. We can't wait. Absolutely, we can't wait.
Yeah. Awesome. So, we're working every single day and trying to be the best that I can be, and also try not to lose myself in the process.
Absolutely.
So.
But we appreciate your humbleness because you came and blessed us with this wonderful interview. We appreciate you coming through, brother.
You don't say.
Like I said, Reggiecouz is in the building. My brother, tell them how they can book you, follow you, everything.
For sure, man. Follow me on all my social medias, Reggiecouz on everything except Facebook, The Real Reggiecouz if you want to find me there. YouTube, same name, everything the same. Just type in Reggiecouz, man. C-O-U-Z. Reggie, C-O-U-Z.